Racing Line, the show where we talk about everything from the Formula 1 world, including real life and gaming. My name is Tom and I'm here with Dirk Chocolate. And today we are going to be looking back at the Belgium Grand Prix. We're going to be doing an F1 silly season roundup. We're going to be discussing the F1 22 game driver updates and if we think they are righteous or not. And we have a brand new challenge for you ahead of the Dutch Grand Prix. Let's get into it. Alright, here we are and for the race reactions. Now, as you can see, Hayden Gullis is not here. He was actually in Belgium, just like I was in Hungary last week. So let's see how Hayden got along there.
Come and join my experience of the Belgian Grand Prix, kicking it off with some queuing as per usual. Now, we didn't get hospitality like Tom did last time at the Budapest Grand Prix, but we did get to take in the spectacular views of this beautiful circuit. Went down to the fan zone, watched some of the drivers, but then whilst the Alpine were on, there were some really noisy, rude neighbours making a lot of noise whilst that was going on. So if you guys could just be quiet, that would be great over there. More queuing, of course. That's just to be expected whilst you're at a Grand Prix. And then we moved over to the bottom of the track, a really long walk, to go watch the F1 action. Headed back to the fan zone to watch the concert that was going on there. And then on Sunday, it was early morning, up at 5 o'clock, onto the track. Really weird looking at the track at night time and not really being able to see anything. And then, of course, I became a bit of a caveman digging as we found a mound. But look at this. The chair fit perfectly and had a very comfy seat to watch the racing from at the final corner of the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Then it was running to the track after a brilliant Grand Prix, watching Max Verstappen dominate here, and they just about got to see the boys on the podium, as did everybody else. It was very packed on the start-finish straight, but we could not leave the Spa circuit without doing a little bit of surfing down the Eau Rouge Radillon section. Nearly getting taken out by another bit of boarding. But there we go. That was my Spa GP.
I'm starting to get really jealous of seeing you guys going to Grand Prix, and I'm starting to watch from home. But you know what? What a race that was for Max Verstappen, getting a dominant finish and starting from pretty much at the back of the grid. Insane from him. Seeing Lewis make that mistake, which we don't really see from him. It's very rare we see something like that happen from Lewis. And also, I have to say, what were Ferrari doing once again? Tom, talk to me, man. What do you think?
Yeah. Actually, they got very unlucky in the end because I've heard after the race that, of course, there was that tear-off in the brakes, of the front brakes of Leclerc, which also actually caused him towards the end of the race to have a broken sensor. And because he got that penalty, of course, nobody actually knew why was he speeding in the pit lane. That was actually because of the broken sensor, which was burned because of the heat that was caused by the tear-off. So, I mean, it was kind of like unlucky, both unlucky and unlucky and unlucky. So it was, it was just a very unlucky day for Leclerc. But it's been like that for a while now. So I just hope that he can come out of it. But we'll talk about that actually as well. And of course, the pit lane where we talk about the driver ratings too with Leclerc.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel bad for Leclerc at this point, but hopefully his season starts to go up at this point. Carlos Sainz, you know what? We didn't talk about. I don't think a lot of people talked about Carlos Sainz much, but he had a pretty good performance. Obviously, didn't have the pace to outperform the Red Bulls, but I think we're starting to see the best of him at the moment. But yeah, what were your thoughts on the Grand Prix? What did you think? Who did you think was your driver of the day? For me, Max is just doing absolutely brilliant at this point, and I can't fault his talent. But Tom, your driver of the day?
I would say, honestly, like, Verstappen could have won with a spin once again, to be honest. Like, he had 20 seconds in the end. Just unbelievable. I would say, though, with Esteban Ocon coming through the grid, not just because I'm, but still, Esteban Ocon coming through the field to get a P7 or something, right behind of his teammate Alonso, who did get damaged. So it might have been put in a different perspective there. But, I would say, for me, it would have probably been Esteban Ocon.
Fair enough. Well, no bias at all there. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments of the Grand Prix. We'd love to hear it. But that was our race reaction and our thoughts on the Belgium Grand Prix. Zandvoort next. Be very interesting to see what happens. up next, we have the silly season roundup. I've got a big smile on my face because of how funny it's been and how crazy it's been so far. But let me give you a roundup of what's happened so far. So, Vettel retired from Aston Martin. Alonso joined Aston Martin, which, Tom, I think you have a funny story for.
Yeah. So, of course, I was in Hungary, right? In the hospitality, and of course, Esteban and Fernando are there as well. So what was funny was that actually Fernando had his birthday there. So on the Sunday, we actually all came about, and Fernando came downstairs from his motor room, and we were ready to go and sing his birthday song. And we all went singing. Even Drive to Survive was there with the whole film crew to film everything. So I might actually be in there for next season. And then of course the next day, what happened there then, the next day, Dirk?
The very next day after that, Alonso goes off and announces that he's joining Aston Martin, which obviously stirs the pot. Now, things are happening. After that, Alpine go off and announce that Oscar Piastri is going to be joining them from his reserve role, only for Oscar Piastri to announce on Twitter that he's actually not joining Alpine at all next season and won't be driving for them, which then starts to stir a pot because where's he going? Ricciardo then goes off and parts ways with McLaren, leaves them, which now opens a door for Piastri over to McLaren, which was already rumoured but not confirmed yet, because now McLaren and Alpine are going to court on whether they take, who takes Oscar Piastri. It's been crazy. It's been crazy at the moment, but a lot has happened these last couple of weeks, and it's not even over yet because there's still seats open up and down the grid, and nothing's being confirmed. It's been crazy, Tom.
Yeah,
I struggle to round it up,
sure.
but man, thoughts on that one?
So obviously it's one whole crazy fiesta. It's the whole circus all over again, and that is what is known for, right? Super entertaining in the off season too. And I don't really feel like we even had a summer break. It was just chaos and entertainment all over, all the way throughout. Now, obviously now this opens up seats at both McLaren and Alpine, of course, depending on what is going to be decided by the contract recognition board, which, as we are recording this, is currently reviewing what is going to be happening. But yeah, if the Alpine seat is open, there were, according to Otmar, 14 drivers who were interested. Now, I don't know who I would love to see in that seat. I don't know, maybe like a full French lineup with Gasly, if it's not going to be Piastri, of course, or maybe a Ricciardo, who now has to find a new team as well. But who would you like to see there?
Oh, I think a full French lineup would be good for Alpine, seeing Gasly and. But I know they don't get along or haven't in the past, but. He's said openly now that he wouldn't be adverse to it, but he's also said that he would prefer Mick Schumacher, which is interesting. I can't see him leaving Haas, but maybe that could be the case.
Looking forward to that one already, Dirk.
Could be good. That was the roundup of the silly season. Yeah. Bold predictions if you really want to, guys, in the comments. Feel free to chuck them in. I'm open to anything.
So let's head to the pit lane for our reaction on the driver rating changes in the F1 22 game. Alright then, here we are for the pit lane, where we will actually review the F1 22 game driver rating changes. We've seen a couple of changes, and we're going to be covering the most notable ones. So let's start with Mick Schumacher, who went actually from 77 to 79. Now, do we think this is actually a deserving change, that Mick Schumacher has actually, basically improved by 2 rating to go up to 79 so far, there?
You know what? His performance in Silverstone, I think, speaks tenfold of him. He drove absolutely admirably. He raced to max so well at some point. I think it's starting to show his talents and his racecraft, what he can do. And for me, yeah, it's deserved. I think he's now showing that he can keep up, and he's definitely showing his dominance in the team.
I think his consistency has actually shown as well that that little increase in rating is actually proven as well. So yeah, I think he's going into the right direction, and maybe more teams are going to be looking forward to perhaps getting him on in the future.
Yeah. Another one that's been upgraded is Zhou Guanyu from Alfa Romeo. Now, he has had his card updated from 70 to 75, which is a massive jump. But again, he's another driver who is a rookie in F1, but has shown that he is, one, consistent, two, he can race, and two, he is hungry to get those points. And he, you know, apart from the incidents that he's had in Silverstone, which wasn't his fault, I think he is really showing that he is a driver to be looking out for the future, and one that teams really need to keep an eye on as he develops. What do you think, Tom?
To be honest, he's kind of surprised me. He wasn't really like somebody who was the one to watch in Formula 2. He was good, but he wasn't like Oscar Piastri level, let's say.
No.
But really, he has proven now in F1 that he's able to score those points as well. Of course, Bottas still has more points compared to Zhou Guanyu, but I feel like he's here to stay.
Yeah.
I think he's here to stay.
No, I agree with you, mate. I agree, for sure.
All right, next one then is George Russell, who actually went up from 90 to 92, and that is a notable difference because now he is actually up into the third best driver rated in the F1 22 game. Now, he has shown to be super consistent in the first couple of races of the season, together with the whole team of Mercedes actually. But being the third best driver already after 5 seasons, what do you think of that, Dirk?
He has gone from a team that was at the back of the grid in the Williams to the front of the grid. Well, not front of the grid now, but he's up there, you know. And I think the most notable thing about George is his consistency to get in the top 5. It's ridiculous. He's always up there or contesting. The first 5 races of the season, he was in the top 5, which I think is just an admirable thing.
That's crazy.
With a car that shouldn't be up there, but they have really capitalized on other teams' mistake, and he hasn't really put wrong.
Yeah, for sure. I think. Yeah, of course, there's still that gap from Mercedes to the top team, so if that gap was smaller, we would be able to see probably more of what he's really capable to do. But yeah, like you said, like the consistency that he's shown in the first couple of races to always score that top 5 is admirable. And I feel like the 92 rated right here is definitely deserving.
For sure. Now, for an interesting one, Max Verstappen going from 94 to 95 rated, winning the championship this season, and now being the best driver in the game on Formula 1. Now...
Wait, you said he won the championship already, Dirk?
No, last season.
Do you think it's... Oh,
last season, mate. We're not even going to edit this out. We'll keep this in there. But 95 this season. But to be fair, he is looking to win the championship, the Drivers' Championship again, with how dominant his driving. His car is up there, and his pace is just out of this world, as we saw in Belgium. So I think personally it's deserved. I can't really argue it. He's not really putting the foot wrong at all, apart from that one in Hungary. Was it 2 now? Hungary and elsewhere. I can't remember the other place, but I think it's 2. And even then, he's recovered very well.
I think, to be honest, you're right as well. He's going to win this championship already this season too, Dirk.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're like foreshadowing what's going to eventually happen. Actually, theoretically, he could win the championship in Singapore already, which is something we haven't seen in a long while. So if that's going to happen, then I don't know if it's going to become more boring or like super exciting for Singapore. But yeah, that should be insane. But like... A very notable difference here too is that Verstappen now, with that driver statistic change, is now the only or the best driver on the driver ratings grid, right? So he was actually tied with Hamilton, 94, but now he is the best.
Yeah.
Now, do you think Verstappen currently is the best driver on the grid as well?
100%. As much as I am, a big fan of Lewis, you have to respect Max for what he's doing, the skills that he's got, the driving capabilities that he's been showing off are insane, and for me, he is the best driver on the grid at the moment.
Now, the last one that we're going to have then for the driver set changes is actually Charles Leclerc, who is the only one in this list who actually lost 1 rating from 92 to 91, actually dropping behind of George Russell with a championship fight. He has lost the car a couple of times, for example, in France, and hasn't really been in that fight. Now, with his last race in Belgium, also getting behind of Sergio Perez, which really surprised me. I thought he was closer to the championship still, Dirk.
Yeah, I think my opinion is it's a mixture of bad luck, some unfortunate strategic decisions being made, and because of that, he's finished in 4, 5 out of 6 races behind his teammate now. You know, whereas Carlos is taking charge of his own car and making the decisions firmly and challenging strategists, but I think Charles's faith may be where he's getting hurt. But at the moment, for me, I think I'm not too surprised, honestly.
Okay, so the Dutch Grand Prix is happening this weekend, so we challenge you to try and beat our hot lap around the Netherlands. This time around though, we're not gonna do it in Formula 1 cars, we're gonna do it in the Formula 2 cars. So, let's see who's gonna be the winner right here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my home track then, the Netherlands in Zandvoort. I actually live 20 minutes away.
As we bring it down into 3rd gear, I want to hug the curb on the right, but we don't want to touch it because it will take us out.
I'm going to be honest with you, it's a little bit more than I did last time at Spa, but this is 4th lap.
As we brake as late as possible for this next one, really want to watch out on the inside of the curb because then we will go spinning.
4th gear, and then just brave on the throttle, and then here it's just all eyeballing it, I'll be honest.
Cut that, don't go wide there. Oh, it's beautiful.
And this is one of the main overtaking opportunities as we head into the stadium section.
3rd gear, lovely.
Oh, look at that, we've gone green on the Delta. Yes, we're improving. We've clawed it back.
As we go into 4th gear into 5th through the last and final turn.
And that, boys and girls, is a lap of Zandvoort. 2.5 tenths off my personal best.
1:21.0. I don't even want to know how slow or off the pace I am.
It's going to be a 1:20.1 right here at Zandvoort.
I always like to see what times we're setting out, so there's some interesting times. But if you think you can beat us, make sure to drop it on Twitter or drop the links in the comments below. Hashtag #VRacingLine, and we'll keep an eye out for it. But, you know, good luck.
And remember, the one who beats us, it will be featured in the next episode. If you want to stay up to date with the Racing Line and the F122 game, then make sure to follow the @Formula1 Game channels on all social media and make sure you subscribe to the channel right here.
From myself, Tom, Hayden as well, who's probably coming back from Belgium, and the men and women over at EA and Codemasters, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys very soon.